everyone, if kagaya ko, sobrang attached nyo sa mga paborito nyong damit, like yung jacket nyo, yung mga butas-butas nyong t-shirt, or yung mga shirt nyo na may nisnis na pero ayaw nyong i-let go, I think this is the episode for you kasi today, tuturuan namin kayo ng 3 simple mending techniques that you can do so you can repair, save, and extend the life of your beloved clothes.
For those who are new here, Common Room PH is a shared retail and digital space for over 200 Filipino makers and artists. If you're looking for unique locally made products, we have branches in Power Plant Mall, UP Town Center, Alabang Town Center, Ayala Malls, Manila Bay, and the Atrium of Makati.
For this episode, we have Jamie again from our friends from Anthill Fabric. If you haven't yet, we had a previous episode with her and Anya where they talked about sustainability and building your own slow fashion brand. Pero for this episode, ang gagawin natin is tuturuan niya tayo how to mend and repair our clothes. So Jamie, how long have you been mending clothes or teaching mending generally?
So, teaching mending, siguro mga 5 years na.
Okay.
Pero yung mending my own clothes, parang simula bata pa ako.
Ay, talaga?
Yeah. So, yung side note doon, parang natuto akong gumawa ng clothes ni Barbie, kaya natuto akong manahe. Tapos
Sobrang maliliit.
Yes! Tapos yung ginagamit ko for the clothes of Barbie was the socks of my father, yung mga luma.
Okay.
So parang feeling ko, nagme-mend na ako, ganun pa lang na stage na parang everything, kahit luma na siya, I can still reuse it. Yun.
Okay. Why do you think like mending is such an overlooked skill to have?
Yeah, I think it's an overlooked skill na essential siya. Kasi we wear clothes and clothes is a basic necessity of humans. But these clothes, parang they protect us from foreign elements. But tayo, hindi naman natin protektahan yung clothes or take care of them. In the same way na yung mga clothes natin, katulad na sinabi mo kanina, may sentimental value.
Yes, favorite.
Yeah.
Hindi ko ma-let go.
So dapat alagaan din natin yung mga value na yun by mending our clothes. So minsan yung maliliit na butas, pag hinayaan natin, lumalaki siya. So yun, kahit maliit pa lang, kailangan i-mend na natin.
I think it's very important to note na, especially ngayon, where everything is so fast, na parang, okay, may bagong drop, bibili ka, or parang, ay naman siyahan, order ka lang online, you can have a new one by tomorrow. This parang refocuses the value of your clothes kasi you don't necessarily have to replace them agad, diba? Excited na ba kayo matuto mag-mending? Kasi guys, so excited na ako. Actually, ginagawa ko na pala siya kasi hindi ako makalet go ng mga clothes ko. So this one, okay, fine siya from Glorious Diaz, pero sobrang gamit ko na siya na ang dami na niyang butas. So,
sobrang ganda ng pagka-mend ni Maan.
Tapos yung iba, tamad ako. So, nilagyan ko siya ng patches. So, we have here mga patches, diba, that you designed for Barrio. Can you tell us more about the mending kit?
Yeah, so in Barrio and Anthill, we have our patches. So these are iron-on patches. So ilagay nyo lang sa damit and then heat it. Tapos wala na yung butas. Parang natakpan na siya ng weaves. So which is giving second life din sa ating mga weaves. And then we are also releasing a new kit, which is our mending kit. So this way, you'll have a guide and also the tools to mend your clothes. And what's special about this mending kit is that bukod sa guide, meron din kayo yung sachet ko na mga templates. So you can be creative in mending your clothes as well.
Okay, ang ganda. So parang everything you need is here na. Okay.
Yeah.
So what if wala pa sila ng mending kit and ano yung mga basic tools that they should have prior to starting their mending journey?
So, 3 lang talaga yung kailangan para mag-mend ng clothes. So, unang-una is thread. So, we can be regular thread or embroidery thread. And then, yung needle din natin para magtahi tayo. And then, lastly, kahit gunting nga lang yan. Thread clipper or gunting, okay na yun. So, 3 bagay lang, pwede na natin ma-repair yung damit natin.
Are you excited?
Yes!
Yay!
Let's do this!
Thank you! Let's go!
So the tools for mending are simple. So we have our thread clipper to cut threads, our pin cushion so that our needles are not pakalat-kalat. And then we also have our needle. So there are two needles here. One is big and one is small. So the big one is for thicker fabrics and the small one is for thinner fabrics. And then also we have pins to hold the fabrics temporarily together. And if marami yung tatastasin natin, we need our seam ripper as well. And of course, paano tayo magtatahi kung wala tayong thread? Yeah, we can use this kind of thread or we can even use our embroidery threads. Yeah. So for our first technique, it's the simplest but also pinaka-tinatamad tayong gawin siya. Minsan, mawala lang yung isang botones ng damit natin. Ayaw na natin siyang suotin. Pero sayang naman yung clothes natin. So when we repair the buttons, unang-una, check natin kung nasa atin pa ba yung button or wala na. Kung wala na, we have to look for the same size of button para lulusot pa rin siya doon sa ating buttonhole. Yan. Next is check kung ano yung thread ng buttons natin. Okay lang naman if we're pursuing visible mending kung iba-iba yung color ng threads natin. But if you want it to match, you can use the same color of thread that the garment uses. So first, locate where the button will be placed. So here, makikita pa natin na meron pa siyang dots. So yan yung marks nung stitches nung nahulog na button. Para lang sure na hindi siya mawawala, we can put an X on it. So this pen is a heat erase pen. So pag binlower natin or in-applyan ng heat, mawawala na siya kahit iron lang. So first step, you need to have your needle and thread and then poke through the back. So kung meron yung marks ng needle, we can use that. And then put your needle through the button. Before we proceed, you have to decide what kind of attachment you want. So pwede kasi siyang pa-X, pwede rin pa-horizontal, or pa-vertical katulad nito. So for this one, we're just going to attach it like this one. So pa-vertical siya. So attach ulit doon sa isa pa, and then attach sa baba. And then hold the button in place. Yan. And then go to the other side. So susundan ko lang ulit yung needle marks, tsaka yung mark natin. And then yan yung first pass. Usually, we do 3 passes para matibay talaga siya. So paulit-ulit lang siya. So, mas maganda kung susundan natin yung mga stitches natin na nagawa na nauna para hindi siya magulo sa likod. Pero at the end of the day, tayo lang naman makakita nun. Dun sa last na pass, we will push through the button pero hindi natin papaabutin dun sa tela. So, dun lang sa gitna ng button tsaka ng tela. And then, we'll hold the fabric like this. And then, spin around the bottom of the button ng 3 beses. Then once done, pull it tightly and then poke papunta sa likod.
Bakit kailangan i-spin around
Sinispin around the button yung thread so that the button will be elevated above the fabric. Kasi kung masyado siyang malapit, mahirap na siyang i-close, kailangan may space pa rin between the button and the fabric. Lalo na kung masyado tayong nanggigigil, tapos super tight nung stitches natin, wala na siyang space, magiging mahigpit na siya. So, just note it. For me, thrice. 3 is a good number. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because I've said, at the end of the day, tayo lang makakakita ng likod. but it has to be functional. And then cut it as close as possible. And before we celebrate, let's check first if it will still fit. Yan. So, pag nag-fit, okay yan.
So if ever, Jamie, they want to experiment and check, parang gusto nila maging playful and they want a different colored button or a different shape for the button, they just need to make sure that the button will fit the hole.
Yes. And it's still aligned. Sometimes we can also change the buttons, right? We wanted to make it look different. So for that one, okay lang naman as long as it's the same size of the button. Yun. Mahirap naman yung malaki yung button kasi hindi na siya kasha. Yun. There you have it. Simple way to attach buttons. For applications of attaching buttons, sometimes, di ba sa damit natin, may mga small na holes. Tapos, pag ni-repair mo siya, magkakaroon na ng bunches sa gilid. Pwedeng takpan nyo lang rin ng buttons on that. And it can also be designs. And for design-wise naman, for visible mending, you can populate this with lots of buttons as well. Pag nasawa na kayo or may sira na yung inyong pockets din.
And pwede rin siya for places na may holes talaga.
Yeah, oo. Lalo na pag tiny holes, you can put it there. The next technique that we are going to do is very simple. It's just the running stitch. So for this, we're only going to need a needle and a thread. So of course, yung i-repair natin na clothes. So this is perfect for repairing yung mga natastas na mga seams or natastas sa shoulders, sa kilikili, which is usually yung nangyayari, lalo na yung paborito nating mga pambahay, diba? So very simple lang siya. So if this is the seam, sa likod tayo magtatahi para maganda. Pwede rin naman sa harap, pero for seam purposes, sa likod tayo. So when we start, make sure na may knot yung thread natin kasi mahirap nagtatahi tayo na wala pala siyang lock. So, it's just going down and then going to the side, going up again, and then pull. Yan. Let's imagine na merong imaginary line here para yun yung tatahiin natin. So, the way I do it is that I do a couple of stitches before I pull the needle para tipid rin sa effort. Yan, paulit-ulit lang, up and down, and then pull, up and down, and pull. It takes a lot of practice para maging even yung distances nila. So, okay lang kung hindi pa siya even, practice lang ng practice. But the goal is even yung spaces, and even yung stitches. Yan. And then last one. So since sa likod naman tayo nagtatahi, kahit saang side tayo magnanot, okay lang yun. Okay, for the knot, I'll just do this. And then pull. And then cut. Tapos, tingnan na lang natin kung tama yung tahi natin sa gilid. Yan. Kung even naman siya, walang bubuka, it's good. Kung bubuka, ibig sabihin nun, we have to tighten our stitches and also to make the spaces even tinier. Pero this one, mukhang okay naman siya. So, other applications of this is that we can do sashiko with this. So, example is this one. So, meron butas to sa likod. We just attach a piece of fabric na kinot sa flowers. And then, we did running stitch around the flower. So, if you're looking for more advanced naman, it looks complicated, but it's actually just a simple combination of running stitches. So, running stitch lang siya na horizontal and also vertical na naging excess siya. So, you can do so much with running stitches din.
So sa mga ganyang projects, they really need to be mindful of the thickness of the fabric, no? Do they need to adjust also the kind of thread that they will use?
Correct. So, when stitching fabric, so for example, if the fabric is thicker, like denim, use thicker needle so that it will be easier for you. And also, you can double on the thread as well. So I used here earlier 2 threads para double na rin siya when we stitch kanina. So the reason why is because it needs to hold a thicker fabric. So dapat thicker rin yung ating.
Ang ganda kasi if you think of running stitches, parang sobrang basic lang niya.
Yes.
Like compared to like embroidery na you can create like complicated shapes. Actually, if you think of the running stitch as like a pencil or a line na pwede kang mag-draw on your
Nagdo-drawing ka talaga.
Nagdo-drawing ka on your fabric with the thread.
Correct. And then you can also enhance your running stitches with different patches like this, which we sell in Anthill as well. So we have iron-on patches and also like scrap patches as well na plain lang, so that you can also have different designs and your clothes will be more unique. So it's like you're celebrating the repairs that you did pa.
I think a lot of people kasi pag iniisip nila na mending, they have to cover it. Like parang lagi siyang tago pero parang hindi siya makita. Pero this one parang you're showcasing na, okay, sira siya, pero inaayos ko siya. But there's a creative way on how you can visualize the repairs.
So, yun yung difference nung visible mending and also ng invisible mending. So, pag invisible mending, parang ayaw mo na talaga siyang makitang may repair. Parang good as new. Pero pag sa visible kasi, which I personally like, is that sineselebrate mo talaga yung nire-repair mo. I gave new life to it. Ganon. Now, we'll do whip stitch naman. So, whip stitch, we use it for edges ng mga butas na damit or holes, or pwede rin naman sa hem of our necklines or also of our pants. Yan. So, we do this to stop the fabric from unraveling. So, the way to do this is very simple also. First, assess if okay ka na ba dun sa butas mo, or if you want to change the shape, you can also change it. If you want it circle, we can cut it circle para mas aesthetic din sa atin. But for me, I'm okay with this shape already. So the way we start it is, we just start from one side, and then lahat ng stitch natin will be coming from the bottom. So paganyan lang siya. And then make sure lang na equal distance na siya. So from the bottom, we'll go slant, going to the front. So, pa-diagonal siya sa likod. Paulit-ulit lang. So, same with running stitch. The goal is na even yung spaces natin. And then, the tension should be just relax lang. Hindi too tight, hindi rin too loose.
Pag masyadong masikip yung hila, parang magbabunch up siya.
Yes. So, hanggang sa makover natin yung buong hole. And then, we can lock it at the back then. And so, sa harap, medyo straight siya. But at the back, naka-side naman sila. So, application of this is when we repair, and then we also have patches. We can do something like this, or this. Yan. Masaya siya pag iba-iba yung shape nung nire-repair natin. So, katulad dito, pwede siyang sa outside, pwede rin sa inside nung nire-repair natin. I've also done it with patches na iron-on din. So, here, so the first one earlier is the running stitch. Dito naman yung ginamit natin ay whip stitch. So, very simple lang siya. So, yung straight yung ginamit natin dito. Tapos maganda rin to for hem of pants. Like this, pwede na tong i-whip stitch. Kasi nag-unravel na rin siya. So maybe that's my next project.
So, ang ganda rin pala na you can play with the look of the whip stitch depending on the color. So, parang like yung ginawa mo here, may contrast siya dun sa pinang-cover mo na applique or na cloth. So, additional detail siya.
Tapos pwede rin na yung patch natin, yung nasa likod. Para yung hole, para celebrate din natin siya. You can do so many things. So now, you have 3 ways to repair and mend your clothes and celebrate those imperfections. So the first technique we did is attaching buttons. Remember lang na when you attach buttons, make sure that it still fits the hole that you're attaching it to. You can decide if you want to change the color of the thread or the same as the clothes. And also, you can decide the direction. So, one is like parallel na vertical, pwedeng horizontal, pwede rin yung X. You can also use this technique to cover up holes and also to decorate broken pockets. So you can populate this, cover this with a lot of buttons. And then the next technique is running stitch. So yung running stitch, we used it so we can fix seams. So yung sa mga shoulder seams, sa kilikili, or even yung sa crotch area natin, minsan yan yung mga unang napupunit. So we can stitch this at the back, and then at the front, it will be seamless like this. But we can also use it as evident as possible. So here we use it together with the patch to cover up a hole. So we just draw a flower on a patch, cut it up, and then put it here. And then yun na yung naging pattern natin for the running stitch. And then the last technique we did is the whip stitch. So yung whip stitch, we use this for the hems, for unraveling ng mga holes, para hindi na sila mag-unravel. So for here, we use it with the patch too, like this, para ma-secure yung patch natin. Again, like this, we can use the whip stitch in here. So I hope you learned a lot today, and I hope your clothes will be happy because you'll be repairing them already.
Oh, so that's it. Those are the 3 techniques that we learned today from Jamie. Thank you so much for teaching us how to repair yung mga natanggal yung mga botones, how to do running stitch, and whip stitch pala ang tawag doon. Tagal-tagal ko na siyang ginagawa. Tawag ko sa kanya, basta ilulup lang natin, whip stitch. Sana those are the things that you can apply in your own repairs. Again, it's so simple and dami yung pwedeng gawin. I think a lot of people, when they think about mending, parang na-overwhelm sila kasi, I can't do embroidery. Pero what you showed us for this episode is that sobrang basic techniques, pero ang dami mo nang pwedeng gawin. Yes.
Okay, so remember, when you're mending your clothes, it doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to think of the basics and start from there. So, for example, the buttons, you can just reattach the old button as well. And also for mga holes, hindi naman kailangan super ganda. And you can also celebrate your holes by attaching weaves or different fabric scraps on them, utilizing the techniques that we learned today. So simple things that can add up not only to your wardrobe but to your life.
Yeah, ang saya. Parang ang dami mong pwedeng gawin. Parang na-unlock yung pwede mong gawin with clothes. Parang ngayon, ano pa ba yung mga damit ko may butas? Gusto ko na siyang ayusin. like for example, this one, it's an old jacket from Gloris Diaz. So yung mga patches ko, ginamit ko to cover. This one naman, may mancha siya here.
It's Anthill, guys!
Anthill Fabric. Kasi Anthill sells mga cut-off, also na woven, Tapos namantsahan siya. Tapos hindi ko na siya matanggal. So, tinakpan ko na lang siya. I didn't know na ang dami mo palang pwedeng gawin with just like sobrang basic things. Thank you again, Jamie, for joining us again at ginulo ka na naman namin, for sharing your insights and teachings on how to mend. I think a lot of people will really learn a lot from this episode. Thank you guys also for watching and joining us today. If you like episodes like this, if meron kayong mga ideas on other tutorials that you want, just leave a comment below, give your suggestions, and we'll try to make them happen here in our channel. If
you haven't yet, please like and subscribe and maybe watch any of our past episodes here in our YouTube channel. If you want to visit any of our branches, we have one in Power Plant Mall, Alabang Town Center, UP Town Center, Ayala Malls, Manila Bay, and here in Atrium of Makati. See ya! Thank you!